Good. How are you? Let's start recording. How are you, Christian Keys,
I
man of multiple streams of income
I am just I am blessed and highly favored.
and highly
Amen.
favored? Okay, you was highly favored before you was blessed.
Amen. Amen.
So, I can't. To me, it's always difficult, like interviewing people you actually know, because
Hmm.
it's like you're not asking all these questions to get to the bottom of stuff. But it's like I know that you came from the bottom and still you rise. Like every year you're just illuminating and shining bright. And when I saw your face in the plays of in the Tyler Perry story in the documentary, you haven't seen it yet, huh?
Uh-uh.
You're in it. It
I didn't
released
know that.
on Amazon Prime, I think, on the 17th.
Okay.
And Galila directed it. Her and she picked all the people. So this is the first project I've ever seen about him that he had no creative control over. He
Mm.
didn't put it together or anything. So when I saw you and just to see the faces of so many stair steps to people's lives, it was just like wow. So it's National Adoption Month,
Hmm.
and it was 2023 when I found out that my parents didn't get me till I was 6 months old. 6 months old. So I was in the system.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Like you never know. Cause you come from that generation where everything is nobody says nothing about anything. And
Right.
now we are like, no, we telling it all. We're telling
Right.
it all. Why is this month so special for you, to promote so much that you've been through? And right now, look at you. You don't look like the things you've been through at all.
Well, thankfully, and thank you. Thankfully, a lot of us don't look like what we've been through, and that's why I think like it's important to be kind to people, treat people, decent. At the very least, the minimum is decent because you don't know what they've been through. A lot of people couldn't. Real quick, should I flip this so it's the wide way, or does it matter?
I like it that way, but some people don't. So whatever you're comfortable with, it is your world. Because when
Okay.
it airs, it'll just show you talking and then me talking. So we're not on there at the same time.
Okay. Well, you know what? Here, let me.
I
I
get
like it
it.
like this, though. I like it like this. I'll leave it.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So what I was saying was, you never know. Ultimately, that's why it's important to treat people decent. You never know what they've been through. A lot of us don't look like what we've been through by the grace of God, man. And I'm just grateful. When these things happen, when these writing and selling TV shows and booking a show, booking two shows, booking three shows, and that's all God.
Looking the tour.
Yeah, my son literally said the same. He said, "You booked another show? Oh, that's just God. God just showing off now." And sometimes that's what it is, and you just got to kind of let him drive. And sometimes we got to quit trying to be the driver and just be the passenger and let God do what He gonna do. I'm grateful to be in this space to be able to create shows and create jobs. When you
Right.
create shows, you're creating 150 or 200 jobs, for black and
Yes.
brown folks that might not be working, and now they can pay their bills and continue to lengthen their resume and continue to chase and follow their dreams. So those are some of the favorite things about all of this. And yeah, you get to work with some amazing people along the way, but some of these things, like I am grateful that after the plays, I didn't work with Tyler until I sold him a television show.
I
You
know,
know,
like
I got
that
a
is
chance to
so crazy right there.
I got a chance to build my own brand and
Yes.
not coast on his coattails. I got a chance to earn my own way, pave my own way by the grace of God, and grind and get it and have slow seasons and this, that, and the other, and then meet him at another place. Like, I'm a content creator, a show writer, and executive now.
Yes.
And now we're working on All the Queen's Men, my baby. I wrote most of the first season and created that show, and the world is loving it. So this is a wonderful space to be in, to be able to do the acting, and now, touring with the City Winery tour, the So Sweet tour, which starts this Wednesday at the City Winery here in Atlanta. And then we go to Philly, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, and Chicago, and some other cities.
Now, I didn't know the City Winery was like statewide, like all over. I thought it was an Atlanta thing, but it's
Oh
not.
no, they got Nashville, Boston. They got a bunch of New York, I believe, and I think DC. So I want to do all of them. It's a very classy, intimate, I think somewhere between 300 and 400 people. So you
Yes.
feel like it's just you're a part of the show. And I've been on the opposite side of it to see
Right.
amazing acts perform. So when given the opportunity here, especially here in Atlanta for my birthday this year, we did a listening party for the album, and it sold out. And when they invited me back, I was like, absolutely, man, your establishment and your brand
Right.
is classy and it lines up with what I'm trying to do. Let's do it.
Now, I saw you at a Taste of Soul when I was in LA, but I could not get to the stage because
It was 100,000 people down there. It was crazy.
They wanted to eat. And I was like, but Christian, but my friend. And they were like, look, and they all had the bands to go in the tent. So I was like, I didn't, and I was going with them, but I was like, but when Stevie Wonder got up there, everybody was kind of gone because it was at the end of the night. But I weeded my way. I just was like, I'm just gonna skip, and I'm gonna skip all the way, and I skipped all the way to the
yeah, you can't miss Stevie. Stevie is an icon, and Stevie is Stevie. Period.
Right. I just felt like they should have put more people that were bigger, like you guys, in the middle. Because
there were some. They had they Major performed, Johnny Gill performed, October London with his singing self, talented brother, he performed. Mike Phillips performed. They had some goons up there, so I'm just honored that they would say, hey, we got some space. Do you want to? I'm like, yep, let me get out. Let me get a couple songs.
And that was my motivation to go, because growing up in South Central LA, I'm not a fan of large audiences in places in LA, because when I was growing up, it always ended in gunshots. I don't even like going to the park right now.
Well, I enjoyed it because when I looked up there,
nice.
When I was singing, I couldn't see where the people stopped. It was so many people. I couldn't see the end of the human beings. Nope. It looked like the black side of heaven. It was beautiful.
It was just people. I've never seen that many people, that many vendors. And to be in a city that I grew up in and not have any violence or anything bad, it was just a really great energy day. So, and the weather was great.
Right.
Yeah, and you sound amazing. And it was all the way through the crowd just to hear your voice. But you always have this amazing voice. Like, even when you're acting, I think about your singing. That's just so crazy.
Thank you. I'm appreciative to be able to introduce people who weren't aware to this side of man. I've been in love with music since I was a kid. I wrote my first song when I was 12, and I have a passionate love affair with music, and I always will. So I'm glad to be able to, the album came out yesterday. Today we found out that So Sweet just debuted on the Billboard Top 30 R&B songs in the country chart today. So God be just showing out sometimes, man. So we just gonna let him do what he do.
And Under That Veil, I said, I want this to be my wedding song if I ever get married again. Look. But
thank you very much.
I love how you did the video, because in the video, like, you hear the song and you think of wedding. Then you see the video and you're like, is it a Dubai wedding? But then I was like, no, he probably just didn't want to be corny and have this bride through the whole video. What was your thought process with the creation of that?
it was intentional. I wanted to make the I told the director Cortez West, I was like, I want the camera to be any woman that's watching the video, so she can see herself in the space. And I'm trying to show why I want to see her and need to see her under the veil, and show the connection and the friendship and the laughter and the love and the passion and all of that good stuff, and keep it classy, and just create my own narrative of why I wrote the song in the first place. And it ended up being wonderful. And what's crazy, soon as So Sweet, which it just came out, now a lot more people are finding out about Under That Veil, and Under That Veil, the red wine mix, the acoustic version.
Yes. That I'm like, okay, let me find out. We got a new aged Brian McKnight. Because Brian McKnight was young when he was doing all of this. And I told him I thought he was old. I always thought he was in his 50s when we were in our 20s. And when I discovered he was the same age as me, I'm like, I'm not taking advice from that music no more. Then he was like, oh, I didn't even write those songs. I'm like, no wonder they were so mature about love. But the way you put it is everybody could relate. And it definitely was diversity and inclusion in the video. It didn't refer to any specific nationality. That's what I loved about the video. It seemed like an international thing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, love, music, food, those are some of our universal languages. Everybody understands, if you Hindu, Buddhist, Catholic, Palestinian, Armenian, African American, you understand good food, good music, good love, real spirituality. So it's a universal language. So, but be clear. Having representation and making sure that the lead in my music videos, that was intentional, as far as her and all of them being melanated, because I want young Black and brown women to be able to see people that look like themselves attached to anything that I'm doing, because it's necessary. Because when I was adopted, bringing it back to the adoption month, when I was adopted that second time, it was an amazing Black woman who saved my life, taught me love, taught me how to be a man. So it's important to show that representation when I do cast, and when I do write TV shows, and when I'm doing my own music videos.
Right. So the one thing that I appreciate about Black women, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Black woman, but Black women do love hard, and I think because we love so hard, when when the trust is broken or something, like we're just so broken, and it takes a long time to get over that, because we do put our all in things we believe in, and people too,
Right.
So when it comes to love, okay, I remember when we were bike riding on the Beltline and you were like, I'm working on something, and you couldn't really say. When you got the project to do your own, from the book to do your own television show, and you were just like, I could tell your brain was just going like, okay, how are we gonna do this? I got it. You was just in grind mode. Even when you were on the bike, it seemed like you were just in thought mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we got from your book to all the Queen's Men.
Well, I can help you with that. I wrote Ladies Night. It had two titles. It was either gonna be Black Magic or Ladies Night, and I wrote that as a movie in 2010. I started pitching it, and I also at the time built it out into a TV show, but I was pitching the movie. Nobody really was understanding the vision, so around 2013, I wrote the book. 2014, the book came out. Ladies Night came out, and I started pitching the show. Like, okay, they don't get the movie, I'm gonna pitch it as the show. They still weren't getting it, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna give up, even though I almost did a couple times, because you only get, you get 30, 40 no's, and people don't understand it. It's tough to keep going, but thank God, I didn't quit. And come 2019, I called Tyler, and we hadn't worked together since probably 07 or 08.
Right.
So it had been more than a decade, and I was like, hey doc, can I come in and pitch some shows? I got some shows, some great shows. Can I pitch, professionally pitch your scripted division? And we set it up, and I went in there and pitched, like somebody who didn't know Tyler Perry,
Right, right.
and brought in 3 or 4 shows, and they loved them. And I pitched to Michelle Sneed, Elon Johnson, and DeAndre Short, and they got them. They understood it. They loved this one, and they loved another one, and they were like, "Well, we're gonna take him 3." But these are the 2 that we love. And I was like, bet, and he hit me later and he was like, you know what? I get both, but let's go with this one over here. I think I'm gonna option this one, and we're gonna go with it. And the way it worked out, pandemic hit. So I'm sitting at my kitchen counter, writing probably 9 out of the 10 episodes, most of that season. And it's
Wow.
just a blessing, but I had known that world. I had written it 10 years before. And then
Right.
by then, BET already had a show called Ladies Night. So I had to go through
Yes.
about 40 titles. And I came up with All the Queen's Men, because I went through every possible title you could think of right now. But the only one that really grabbed me and made me think like, okay, everybody in the show is a pawn, rook, knight, bishop, king on Madam's chessboard.
Yep.
Atlanta is Madam's chessboard, and she's the queen, and she moves these pieces around. And this show needs to be called All the Queen's Men. And so that's how we got to
Okay.
that space.
Okay. I was just trying to wrap my head around it, like survivor's remorse. I was like, okay, is this about somebody surviving? Because they had Tashina Arnold doing it, and she was promoting, her illness. And then I was like, did she survive? And I was just like, but I love to hear how titles are created, like, because everybody's creativity is different, but that's perfect.
Thank
Like,
you.
it's
And
so
Eva
perfect.
is killing it, literally. She was built for the role. We only ever thought about like 1, 2, maybe 3 people tops, but she was always right there.
Yes.
And
Her personality, just the way she's able to act and do it so effortlessly, and it feels
yeah,
natural. But
yeah,
she's like the opposite, because she's really sweet and loving and motherly. I think she's evolved as a mom into this
yeah,
different
absolutely.
character.
And balancing those, it can feed you. It can strengthen you as a human being, as a dad.
Right.
But she does a wonderful job of balancing, being mom and building her brand and picking great roles and projects, and then taking off time and resting and taking care of herself. But I
And when
can't
it's
see anybody.
showtime, it's like
Yeah,
now
I
she's
couldn't see I
madam.
couldn't see anybody else. I couldn't see anybody else being Madam.
Yes. So did you cast everyone like yourself, or just the main characters?
I had a say in myself and the Avengers. I call Michelle, Elon, and D. I call them the Avengers. Myself and them, we all kind of chimed in, and the funny thing was, we all thought this person should play Doc. This
Right.
person should play Madam. This person should play Babyface. We were all kind of in unison, and that really helped me trust them with my show, with my baby, because you get attached when you create something, and
Yep.
and you pitch it and you change it and you shift it and you rewrite it and rework it. But that let me know, like, they get the vision, they understand. We're
Yeah.
we're we're in alignment. Let's make something that's already good even greater.
And that's a wonderful feeling when your team gets the vision.
Yeah, and they
One
do,
thing
and they
I've learned, the one thing I've learned, if you have a vision and you really feel strong about it, you shouldn't give it up because nobody else gets it.
right.
Okay. Yeah, I've learned that, because sometimes you like throw stuff away, and then later on somebody does it and it's successful, and you're like, listening to y'all. So I'm
Hmm.
like, if you feel it, you pray on it, and he says it's a go, then let's go. Okay.
Yep.
Yes. So congratulations about the album, the where your songs are on the Billboard. That is incredible when you think of how
Thank
much music there is out there. Like, this is amazing. Like, I don't even know why the cloud hasn't like sent you through the ceiling while we're talking right now.
So yeah, I just like I said, it's such a surreal thing. But at the
Yes.
end of the day, I don't. Those kind of accomplishments and those wins, I take a second to breathe them in and thank God. And I might, go back home or something, have a good cry, smile, feel good about it. But it also makes me want to continue to create more really good work and more
Yes.
opportunity for people to work on. As far as I got 5 or 6 other shows ready that I'm pitching now. I got 5 or 6 other films that are already written. I'm not playing, Jonelle.
I'm
I am
not
not
playing no
playing.
games.
It's not a game. So it's I'm excited about it. And now I'll get to partner with some of the production companies that I've auditioned with before. And and we can do some of these movies together. You know what I'm saying? Some of these
Love how
shows
focused
together.
you are.
So
Now, I know they're getting ready to wrap me because we said 30 minutes, but I'm going to ask you a question about relationships.
come on.
So, my thing is, then it's hard for the 9 to 5 mind to meet and connect with the entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're an entrepreneur like you are, and then you have someone in a relationship that works 9 to 5, that believes in the corporate world, at 5 o'clock it ends. How do those worlds live together? Like, do you think it's possible?
I think it's absolutely possible. I don't have to. Somebody asked me that before. I do not have to date somebody that's in the industry. You're gonna
Not
find
even
love with.
in the industry, but just the 9 to 5 mindset and the
I think
entrepreneur.
I think you're gonna find love if you're open to it and if you're ready for it. You're gonna find it where you're gonna find it. You're gonna find it when you're not ready for it. It'll surprise you sometimes. You go looking for it, you'll find the wrong thing. You go searching desperately for it, you definitely gonna find something temporarily wonderful. But it won't be love. You'll fall in like with somebody, you'll fall in lust with somebody, but it won't be the thing that you are looking for, probably. But I do think that it can happen. They just have to, y'all both have to be ready for each other. In my situation, a lot of people can't understand the schedule and that, like today, all day is press. I don't
Yep.
have the luxury of going out to the club. I don't have luxury to I can't go do a brunch today or go get drinks with you and your homegirls tonight. And this, that, and the other. I got a 4 or 5 hour rehearsal tonight, to get
Right.
ready for a show. And then I have 4 or 5 more interviews tomorrow and 2 shows. And this is the sacrifice. This is what I prayed for. So I'm not
I get off
gonna
at
complain.
5 o'clock, and what about my time?
Right. Yeah, I'm not dealing with all of that. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, which is why I'm single. I'm not going through all of that nonsense, man. I am in my purpose, which is the area of my life that God is blessing, and I'm gonna stay active in my purpose. And when I meet her or realize I already know her, then that's where I'll be. I'll be functioning and focusing on these blessings.
I think you just came up with the title of your next single, In My Purpose.
I already wrote that.
You already wrote it?
Yeah.
Is it out?
No.
Okay.
No,
Because
but it's something that's something I've already written.
I love that right there.
Literally.
Because you
Yeah.
said it so effortlessly. I'm like, wait a minute. It sounded like you were quoting
Yeah.
from a
Yeah.
song. All those lyrics was just like, wow. And some people need to hear that.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to hear that. Like, okay, I'll give you a couple months to put it out. I'm putting a
No,
timeline on it.
it's a section in a book that I wrote that's coming out. But we'll get to that. We'll talk about that later. Right now it's about
It's
the
about
strike
this
is
mission.
over. All the Queen's Men, season
Yes.
3 of All Rise.
Uh,
That's rolling right now. Season 4, The Boys comes out next year, and I'm blessed to be a part of that show. The Family Business, which is a show that I was blessed to co-produce, and I'm
4
also an
shows.
actor on. The Family Business I co-produce, and I'm also in. That's on Netflix now. So it's a lot of blessings going around.
Oh, so that is so a blessing to be in a co-producer in the creativity space and not just the actor on camera.
Right, or not just the writer, just helping
Yeah,
pull the pieces together. Yeah.
yeah, because that's who you really are. That's who you've always been. So I'm just glad everyone is realizing your greatness right now because they ain't want to listen to me in '09. They didn't want to listen. But I will tell you, your biggest fan, Jackie Edmonds Kofer and James Kofer, are two of your biggest fans. They've always had such high standards and high regards for you. And they told me, like, Christian, we need you to protect him. And they were just so protective of you, like parents. They've always.
Listen, let me tell you something. Let's Stay Together, them taking a chance on me, that was one of the first large roles that I ever booked. So yeah, it's Jack Edmonds Cofer. That's, you know, they family over there, man. It's that
They
was a
love
blessing.
you.
That was a blessing to be a part of that amazing melanated magical cast.
Yeah, it was a magical cast. Thank you so much for interviewing with us. And we are rolling out right now because I know you got to keep it rolling to other people. And you know, me and you could just talk all that, you know. Thank you so much, Kristen.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, Jonelle.
Have an amazing day.
You too.